It's time for the round of 8 with the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2023. 3 tracks, Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. 8 drivers, all vying for that chance to be in the championship 4 when the tour heads to Phoenix. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Motor Miles. I'm Dave Burns, along with Kyle Petty and Nate Ryan, taking a look at the round of 8 coming up. And whether you truly believe in momentum or not, you may have some coming in here, and it may be to your benefit. So, Kyle, I don't know if you're a believer or not, but who would you say has momentum coming into this round?
So for me, it's William Byron. And I mean, he's just there. Wins a race, does everything he needs to do at all the right times, seems to make good days out of bad days when he doesn't get the stage points or run up front. Doesn't make any difference at the end of the race. And that's what it's going to come down to at Phoenix. It's not about stage points. It's who's there at the end of the race. The guy whose momentum has slowed for me is Denny Hamlin. I'm going to say that because I don't know where he's been the last couple of races because he was the hottest guy on the face of the earth. He was playing on the sun. That's how hot he was. But for me, it's William Byron.
Yeah, and he's the obvious one, Kyle, when you look at a guy who finished first, second, and second in the round of 12 like William Byron did. It's hard to overlook those results and say he's the guy with momentum, especially when juxtaposed, as you note, with Denny, who I think ran well through the first round and continued to run well in the next round, but seems to have these mistakes that hurt him. Didn't hurt him in terms of the finish at Talladega, but speeding in the pits has been something that's been a career-long thing for him, and that's bit him now a couple of times in the playoffs. But I think he does come in, Denny Hamlin does, with a little bit more momentum than Kyle Larson, and certainly a lot more momentum than Truex Jr. So after Byron, who again 3 top 2 finishes, you can't really argue with that sort of momentum. I think then it's a game of who has the least amount of like opposable sort of force leaning on them at this point, and not momentum. Byron's the clear guy with momentum. I think after that, it's just who has any modicum of momentum going in the round of 8.
I completely agree because the 24 is on my list. As Kyle said, he always kind of shows up there at the end, whether he wins the race or not. The other one that I was looking at was Ryan Blaney. We saw him there on the playoff grid last, but remember, they won the first race of the round of 12, which helped them then prepare for this upcoming round going to Vegas. So I think that is on his side. And I think Blaney, even though he's on the bottom, as you look at the grid, he is showing some momentum coming in. So you guys kind of mentioned some that were back there, maybe haven't really shown up yet. Nate, I'll start with you on this one. Anybody back there that really hasn't done anything yet, but you feel like has all the potential in the world to show up in the round of 8?
Well, I think it's hard to say that Tyler Reddick would be a surprise driver because he runs so well at Homestead Miami Speedway, and that's sort of his ace in the hole. But I think he has been lurking, even though he has the win during the playoffs at Kansas to advance. He didn't have a great round of 12, had to fight his way into the round of 8 at the Roval. So I think he'd be the guy, if I was going to pick a driver who's lurking, he'd probably be on my list. And, Chris Buescher is Dale Jarrett's pick to make the championship 4. I think he'd be a surprise. And as KP knows, you can never go wrong with Jarrett and Associates. So I think Chris Buescher is definitely lurking there as well.
Yeah, and that for me, I was going to say Chris Buescher, just because of that consistency factor. And as I look at these racetracks, they may not be right in their wheelhouse, because I think the one thing that Blaney and Chris Buescher have going against them in this round is spelled F-O-R-D. It's the Fords. They just have not been as competitive as what I think I would have liked to have seen them on these racetracks. But now let's go back to Chris Buescher. Man, my man wins at Michigan. He can win anywhere.
Right.
And that is the deal. That is the wild card with Chris for me as we go into these rounds. These are momentum tracks as we go to Vegas. Is keep your momentum up. As we go to Homestead, is keep your momentum up. Martinsville is an animal unto itself, but Phoenix is the same type racetrack. They're momentum racetracks. And Christopher Buescher, I think those fit in his wheelhouse as a driver.
KP, I'm going to stay with the Christophers here and say that C. Bell will get his act together completely and surprise a few people in this round. I think the car has had the speed. I think the pit crew is settling down. And I think the 20 car could be one that shows up here in the round of 8 and takes an advance to the championship 4. We shall see. What about these tracks, though, Kyle? You've raced them all. Well, have you raced them all? I think you've raced them all. Yeah. Homestead coming up next, Vegas this week, and then, of course, Martinsville. Who do you think this round favors track-wise?
So listen, Dave, I raced them all when they were dirt. That's how old I am. Here's what I'm going to say. I think this round, in all honesty, favors Kyle Larson and William Byron. For me, I just look at these two guys. I look at the Chevys. I look at how they run on that style racetracks at Vegas. But let's go back to Vegas early in the year. Anybody remember William Byron? So I think as we look at those tracks, especially the first two, and we know that Phoenix came down to William and Larson. So I think if I look at the totality of not only this round, but even headed in the Phoenix, I think it favors the Chevys, and it has to favor William Byron for me.
Yeah, I remember when there was the huge outcry when they put dirt down at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2003. I remember KP's comments on that one. Now, as I look round of 8, I think the driver that stands out the most for me is Denny Hamlin, simply because he has more wins than any other playoff driver at these round of 8 tracks. He's got a series high of 9 wins at Homestead, Vegas, and Martinsville combined. So he's high on my list. I'll just throw it out there. I know this is probably foolish, but he's the regular season champion. Martin Truex Jr. also has won at all of these tracks. He's got a top 10 in the last 6 races at Las Vegas. He's the only driver to be in the top 10 in every race with the next gen at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So I know at this point it's kind of pick Martin Truex Jr. at your own peril based on how these playoffs have gone. But if it turns on for him, this could be the round, and you can't really overlook the playoff point bulge he comes in here with the round of 8.
Nick, you're reading my mind, Nate, on Martin Truex Jr. I feel like he knows these tracks. He knows them well. I like how you put it. At my own peril, I'm going to pick him as well as someone who can handle these tracks in this round. So look for Truex to finally find it and find his way once again into the championship 4. So do you have a chance to watch us on Sunday? I believe that you will. It'll be 2:00 Eastern on NBC. Don't miss it. The Las Vegas first race of the round of 8 for the NASCAR Cup Series. Thanks for watching NASCAR America Motor Mouth, presented by Toyota.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.